So I'm sure you can imagine that over there across the pond in England that they have Masonic or something. MI5, John D, Edgar Kelly, auto transcriptions, I'll probably Tavistock, Scientology shit too. And I lose my train of thought. Scientology. This makes me lose my train of thought. And then I have to go into a category that doesn't seem or feel connected. But that's what I was going to do anyway. As soon as I get around to it. Supposedly there's a winter solstice ritual that enhances criminal mentality and exacerbates the idiosyncrasies of mentally weak, ill, whatever. George Bush said that they were weak. He was playing stupid. He's actually pretty intelligent. They might have a Freudian slip every now and then, but it doesn't mean that they're still... Because you can be intelligent and stupid, kind of, at the same time. So... something that wouldn't be directly related to a winter solstice ritual that is throwing off the polarity of Jupiter. It's like I actually think this phase is over, but I'm able to comment because you can interpret this stuff like, okay, so there was like an energy that was sent towards Jupiter. And it was binded. So this word binding, it was like they've been trying to carve light and bind energy from the cosmos. Then they threw it at Jupiter. They made like a torpedo out of this shit. And they called it a comet. And when it landed, they were all like, woo, yay! Right? Like, yay, let me say, like, and people didn't know that they were able to do this, right? So, just tell you it's a comet. But the problem is that Jupiter's really not that far away. It's only like 45 feet high above like the roof of like, 2 feet buildings. Like, two-floor building with 2 floors on it. It's almost touching, like, it's almost right there with like Jupiter. And fucking, they've been trying to throw off the polarities and enhance criminal mentality when the solstice. So they probably have an equinox, another one too, right? So rituals for destabilizing, because if you think about it, the stars are brain cells, and if you knew what your nation was, it might be like a whole sentence. Like, what nationality are you? Like, it might take a whole sentence. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is. That would be fronting. Like, why don't you wait and find out? You think you never will? I don't know. Some people have been locked up in prison and thought they'd never get out. So maybe you'll find out. And because we just think in terms of like, like the nation of like Cush and Dan, like there's like one syllable long nations, and do you know what's up with that stuff in the genealogy? I'm not that good on that stuff. Edomite is red people or something, but it's like everybody has to be at some degree part of that. And then there's these other nations like I don't know, a whole freaking bunch of them. Okay. And in the Bible, in Gideon, they count how many people, like sons, and like they account everybody. But okay, I don't know why they do this stuff too much. I get that. I think that it was a story about. It was like they did where they fell short. It was like a story about falling short and not building the temple or the nation or something. Like they didn't get to do it gloriously like they could have. And God told them why you suck. It's like but this like obviously like everybody is falling short. What's up with the ham? Like we're supposed to go ham. North American black people are supposed to become the nation of ham. Isn't that ridiculous? Like Dan, the people of Dan, they might have been Anunnaki or cannibals. Who knows? Like that's without like there was like I don't know. I would make one up by accident. I don't want to do that. I just really specifically don't want to do that. Okay, there's some things that are not nationalities that you think are nationalities. Like, okay, the Dravidians. That's not Byzantine. But what is the nationality of somebody whose genealogy comes from Byzantine? I mean, I think I know it, but I'm saying, what is it though? Like Italian, Spanish, French, Portugal, and part Mediterranean. So are the Celts. The Celts be all over the place too. And before they encroach, there's already another group that. So that's why I can't talk so much, because I only have a little tiny bit to go off of. And I don't want to make claims about who's supposed to be wherever they have. Then they have to get up, hup. You need like sheriff's department. Sheriff's department, get the fuck out. Hup. That's fucked up. That's just fucked up. But there's some things that I mean, we can see that it's laughed at and everything, but I still know in my soul, it's like I still know. It's laughed at, but I still know. Like, there's strange photography. As much as it's interesting to look at UFOs and shit. Look at some of the pictures of some of the Native Americans, even in Mexico. Like, I'm not saying everyone everywhere is black, but for fuck's sake, somebody was black over here. Because I've seen some Clear Lake Indians that look like my grandma on my black side. I've seen some Indians in Mexico that look like Lee Scratch Perry fucking mixing on the DJ tables. But there was like, you know, spearfishing like in the Tules. And I seen some haircuts that look like the hats or the things that are fixed onto the head of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and stuff. Like, you know that the hat of Osiris is a grain of like seed of like a millet, a kernel of, it's like a kernel of corn, but it's supposed to be like a pineal gland, but it's a kernel of millet or like a seed of something like flax or something. It's like, and the way they talk about jars and stuff like that, it would be the way you describe shapes and angles on a fucking grain of seed, like a corn god, Osiris. The iris, the papyrus, and Osiris. That's like multimedia right there. Flat, dried multimedia. You can preserve like a PDF, or like they have, you know, like it's like we went to metal and CD-ROM and like all these kind of stuff. But it's like back then they used to chip away a stone, or they had papyrus or something. But it was like the linguistics about multimedia is that sublime technology in the mythology. They were trying to prove something. So like, it's, does art imitate life or life imitate art? And the thing that kicked it off is like maybe a sandstone crystal that was double executing, and they have to create the likeness with a reflecting pool. And that's how we have the Washington Monument. But we also have the symbol on the pause button on the remote control, where we're thinking, you know, people are thinking, wait a minute, the Washington Monument is 1 and the pause button is 2. It's 2 obelisks, but they always find one obelisk leaning on the side, and they think that it wasn't finished construction, or they didn't erect it yet, or something like that. But it's kept on its side on purpose, because underground there is a vacuum sealed, hermetically sealed chamber to keep the papyrus, and it was like on a triple beam scale thing that had some hydraulic shit. When you lean it up, it creates a lot of weight on a single point, and when you live in a savanna where you get flooded and you have papyrus, then you wouldn't be able to preserve knowledge. And so it's multimedia, and it's technology that's sublime in technology that makes for a grotesque history. And I only deal with snippets, and I just gave you that bit. Before you had Allah and Al and El and a law, there was already a lot. In ancient Sumeria was a mother goddess Sumerian deity named Allah, and she struggled to contain her feminine voluptuousness, and she was like, you know, it was like stumbling around and poof, like, wow, like titties, nip slip. Like, and that's why you have to be engaged in the nip slip every 20 years to kind of enhance, and it's like a ritual that national, like a national passing over of the, how do you pass your inheritance on to the king, the son of a king.